We're joined in the studio by former Buffalo Bills coach Phoebe Schechter and Efe Obada, who has played for a whole host of NFL teams, including the Bills, plus the Carolina Panthers and the Washington Commanders, in the presence of greatness here. Let's talk first then about the Buffalo Bills. We'll get to that, but the Kansas City Chiefs, who began in Sao Paulo, didn't quite go so well for them. What went wrong?
You know, I think it was one of those things where a lot of weight was put on Patrick Mahomes. We've been saying this for years. He needs to have some star receivers around him. He can't be the guy that is out rushing all of his other players. And so there was a bit too much of that. And I think travel, I mean, you know better than anyone, traveling is so tough on a team, isn't it?
No, I agree. It does take a toll, and it's an adjustment period. It's out of rhythm. But like you said, there's a lot of pressure on Mahomes. He doesn't have a receiving core. Running back was the run defense was definitely neutralized. But even going into it, I just don't think they're as hungry as they once was.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really interesting because also we thought the Chargers were going to come into that game and really run the football. They ended up really being more of a passing side. So it made it incredibly exciting to be able to watch. I mean, some of the highlights you had here, to see that young Justin Herbert just connecting with his receivers. We've been wanting this for so long. They've got a second-year defensive coordinator in Jesse Minter. And this is, I mean, Mahomes had some unbelievable Mahomes magic that we love to see throughout. So it's going to keep coming up time and time again. They've got Andy Reid, one of the best head coaches in the league. So they're going to have it, and of course, connecting with Travis Kelce.
And Travis Kelce, of course, I mean, that has been the story of the summer, pretty much, the engagement to Taylor Swift. Any insight into a halftime show potentially at the Super Bowl?
Possibly. I'm sure there's millions and millions of people around the world that would like to see that happen, all the Swifties.
I mean, she's been on a podcast now, so anything goes. But yeah, potentially Taylor Swift. You know, I would love to see a Bad Bunny. I think Bad Bunny as a halftime show would just be so much energy. But look at this. It's just absolute storybook between the two of them.
It totally is, yeah. I just got to say, I've got the same birthday as Taylor Swift, December the 13th. Yeah, absolutely. Let's focus on tonight's games then. The big one, New York Jets against the Steelers. A certain Aaron Rodgers is going to be back against the Jets. So what are we expecting here?
I mean, look, these two quarterbacks, this is what it's all about because they've actually just switched location. So Aaron Rodgers was with the Jets and Justin Fields was with the Steelers. So to be able to see them performing night one, biggest show on them on turf right now, it'll be so exciting.
No, I agree. You got a seasoned veteran quarterback here and a young quarterback that's trying to find his own and establish himself in this league. You know, he's clearly got so much to prove, but he's also trying to, quiet the doubters. So they both have a lot to prove this game.
And how much pressure would you say is on Rodgers? He's had a few injuries, hasn't he, over the last couple of years? I mean, for him, you know, he's pretty much a pinnacle of the NFL in terms of a quarterback. What has he got to prove to the people tonight?
Personally, I don't think he has a lot to prove. You know, he's got a really good mindset in terms of just playing it. You know, his approach is he's playing for the love of the game. And I think that as a veteran guy, he has the ability to just kind of quiet the noise outside of it and just do what's best for the team. I think the more pressure was on Justin Fields in order to execute.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I mean, the Jets have a brand new head coach, Aaron Glenn, who is with the Lions before as the defensive coordinator. He's been a player in the league for ages. So there's a lot of pressure on the Jets organization. I think when you look at the Steelers, they're a team who are perennial winners in terms of they keep making it to the playoffs, which is exciting, but they make it to the playoffs and then they never actually push past that. They want to get a Super Bowl back. And so the hope is that you bring in Aaron Rodgers, potentially somebody who's going to be wearing that gold jacket one day in the Hall of Fame, who's going to just be that element to elevate you to the next level. So I think he's really good at quieting the noise. And I think there's also this beautiful Lombardi trophy at the end of the tunnel that he's really wanting to work towards.
We look at the next live game, which sees the Detroit Lions take on the Green Bay Packers. Now, this is going to be an exciting one, and a lot of attention will be on Micah Parsons for the preseason move from the Cowboys to the Packers. How much scrutiny will there be on him ahead of this one? You know, a lot of people saying it could be an absolute game changer for the Packers, right?
Yeah. Well, this has been a blockbuster move. This is what everyone's been talking about throughout the whole preseason in general. So a lot of weight is on his shoulder, but he's proven time and time again, as you can see here, him going against Jalen Hurts, that he is more than capable. You know, his back and his injury is questionable, but I think I've seen him, and I've seen him play, and he's devastating. Offensive coordinators have to scheme against him.
And that's exactly what makes him so challenging and what makes him such an interesting position right now, right? Because the Cowboys get rid of him the week before the season starts. They trade for Kenny Clark, who was the defensive lineman of Green Bay, 2 first-round picks, and then now Green Bay end up in the same conference, right? They're both in the NFC, so which is also a bit of an odd move. And now Micah Parsons, who is a generational player, is going against one of the top offenses. So it's going to be such an electric game. And actually, we've not even spoken about one of the other players for the Lions. It's the 2 edge rushers. You've got Aiden Hutchinson and you've got Micah Parsons. They're going to be the game destroyers that this guy's been in that position a couple of times, so I'm glad he's next to me now.
But how do you see that one going then, Effie?
No, it's going to be a great matchup. You know, there's Aiden Hutchinson for the Detroit Lions, and obviously Michael Parsons, like both elite pass rushers, both disruptive. I just think in order to neutralize them, both teams have to establish the run. But if they don't, we're going to see a lot of sacks, and we're going to see Jordan Love, who is the Green Bay Packers quarterback, under duress, and also Jared Goff, who's the quarterback for the Detroit Lions.
Let's turn our attention to the final game tonight, which sees the Buffalo Bills, of course, the team that you guys know very well indeed, up against the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, a lot of attention on him. I mean, how do we see this one going? What's it going to be like for this match?
Oh, man, this is what the NFL is so good at, right? You're taking 2 potential MVPs of last year. Josh Allen won it last year, but Lamar Jackson was in the running, and it was neck on neck in terms of who was going to get it. And now you've got this as the primetime game this evening. This is going to be a statement maker. This is where you're really going to figure out who you are. You're going into the Bills Stadium. It's a home opener. The atmosphere is Bills Stadium going to be, and you're going to see 2 of the best quarterbacks we have in this league. And that's what people want to watch. They want to watch Josh Allen making magic. You want to watch Lamar Jackson, Action Jackson, making people miss. I mean, this is going to be about the offenses and about these quarterbacks. I mean, who fumbles a football on the floor with thousands of pounds of men chasing after him, stiff arms him, and then throws this touchdown? I mean, he's not normal. You've been there. You've seen that.
No, I agree. He's definitely someone on my bucket list that I wasn't able to get. But, you know, Buffalo Bills, Ravens, one of the 2 juggernauts in the AFC. And we're so privileged to be able to see them on week 1, and this is going to be a huge test for both of them, and and also a tone setter for their season.
I mean, the game slows down. You watch these highlight reels, and it's like he's playing Madden. He is not like a real person out there, and that's what's so fascinating. And you've got to see a team who. They did well in the playoffs. They've never really been able to push and make it further, but they've only strengthened their roster. They've brought back a lot of the same kind of supporting cast. You've got Derrick Henry, who is just a freak of nature. He's about FA size, but a running back. Yeah. And you've got him running down the throats of the defense. And you switch that over. You've got James Cook, who's so fun and exciting to watch. Oh, I mean, this game is going to be exhilarating.
Yeah. So let's turn our attentions then to some predictions just for the finale. Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? Who's going to be MVP? I mean, it's a lot to call right now. From what you've seen in the preseason, who's looking good, and what do you think?
I'll let you go first, Phoebe.
I mean, I think we're looking at those 2 teams to be one of the Super Bowl winners.
Yeah.
For me, my heart is still with Buffalo. I think they can do it. It's the strongest offense that they've had. I think they'll end up probably playing the Eagles because the Eagles have been a team who've only strengthened their roster as well. But I always got to go with my Bills. Who do you have?
No, I agree. But at the same time, I'm going to be on the flip side, and I'm going to go with the Ravens. I'm going to stay in the AFC, and I'm going to go with Ravens. They have a great group of guys. Like you said, they brought back a lot of guys, and I think they're poised. They know what it takes. They're definitely going to be in the playoffs. They just need to stay consistent and win playoff games.
And surprise packages. You know, there's a lot of teams that have strengthened in an underrated way. Is there anyone you think maybe potentially might spring a surprise come the end of the season, or at least get far?
We were just talking about this before, so you tell the people, I think.
Listen, I'm a bleeding heart
with your chest.
I'm with my chest. All right, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that's not going to agree, and people are going to be like shocked. But I'm bleeding heart for the Carolina Panthers. I think they're a young team. They're learning. They're developing. Bryce Young needs to grow. They're getting their defensive group back. He just needs to figure out how to stop the run and rush the passer. There's a lot of things to fix, but Carolina's my home away from home. and I'm always going to support them.
Okay.
And I've gone with the Raiders. First off, I think the AFC West, which the Chiefs are a part of, Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, and Raiders, is one of the most competitive divisions for the first time in a long time. But the Raiders have Pete Carroll. He is just an icon in his own right. They've got Ashton Genty, one of the best running backs, Brock Bowers, one of the top tight ends last year. I think they're trending in the right direction, and they're going to definitely surprise a lot of people.